Expectations are high for the Baltimore Orioles this spring, coming off a AL East division title, the first since 2014. As spring training begins here at Etzman Stadium in Sarasota, manager Brandon Hyde met with the media earlier, and here's what he had to say.
Mike gave us a rundown of the injuries, which are concern level, especially for somebody like Radish.
Well, I just think you have to, injuries are part of this game, and I feel good about the depth we have, and hopefully he'll be back soon, but it's just a part of it, and that's why you have a 40-man roster and bring a lot of people to camp. But Kyle has had a great year for us last year, and hopefully that he can join us real soon.
You mentioned the pitching depth. How much confidence do you have in guys that, Cole Irvin was great at the end of the season.
Yeah.
I have Tyler Wells that came back after, some soreness there. I mean, the guys that maybe were fringe at the end of the season could step up into bigger roles in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, and we had Burns.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
So I feel like we've always dealt with injuries and things really well. And I think this is just going to be another one of those. This allows us to give other guys some opportunities, and we do feel confident and comfortable with the guys that we have in camp, that are rotation candidates, and so I think we'll just see how it goes this spring.
How excited are you about Burns and the impact he was having on his pitching?
Yeah, very. It's somebody that I saw him get to the big leagues in Milwaukee, and you saw the stuff right away, and this is what he's done these last 5 or 6 years is incredibly impressive, and we saw him firsthand. Our guys saw him firsthand in Milwaukee last year and didn't really enjoy their at-bats against him, so I feel really great. I feel great about having him here, and it's nice to officially meet him in person yesterday, and looking forward to watching him pitch for us.
How does he seem to acclimate so far? It's early, but
yeah, it's been 20
smile on his face. I'm told.
It's been about 20 minutes, but I think everything so far so good. I don't know if he knows many guys in that clubhouse, because we're pretty young and they're different leagues, but Milwaukee's in a different league. But so far so good. I think that we have that's one thing last year, and I know you guys wrote a lot about it, but the character of our team, and we have great personalities, we have great guys, they're unbelievably welcoming, and that is just he's just going to fit right in.
Do you feel like Corbin can raise the ceiling of what this team can accomplish?
Well, just somebody with his kind of stuff and what he can do for you in the rotation, it's going to be really helpful. And let's wait and see. But pitches like he did the last 3 or 4 years, will be in good shape.
Who are some of the other guys that you can look at starters? Not the obvious names like Wells or Irvin. Who are the guys that we may see get more innings in spring games?
Well, I think someone like Zimmerman, who's kind of had some major league time, but gone back and forth AAA. Look at some of the adjustments that he's made this camp, and give him opportunities. We have some NRI guys that I think that we're going to take a close look at, that our pro scouting department likes their stuff, and so we'll see.
Are you proceeding as if you're not expecting meetings to be ready opening day, or you don't know?
I would assume we're not going to see him opening day, but it's a little too early to tell right now. He's just behind in his throwing schedule.
Yeah. How concerned are you about Henderson?
I'm not concerned at all about Gunnar. No.
Hey, Skip, as far as the schedule goes, business as usual in terms of just regular going through the mechanics with the pitchers and catchers today, and when the position players arrive, some inter-squad games and stuff like that before you get going.
What's your question?
In terms of the schedule, what you have mapped out for the guys, like they're going through the obviously the mechanics, covering first base and stuff like that, and they're going to that. Do you have inter-squad games planned and stuff like that before you get going?
It's 4 or 5 days of pitchers catchers, and that's just going to be your typical pitcher catcher schedule, where we're getting guys off the mound. We got some live BPs starting with some of the position players that are here early. But yeah, fielding your position, holding runners, things like that. They'll be working on all those things here the whole camp. But really, the focus is the first 4 or 5 days. Staying healthy. That's the bottom line. Is getting these guys in a good routine out here every day. We have 2 new pitching coaches that are getting to know these guys also. So these are important days to create that relationship, and and then the full squad gets here, and we'll have workouts until our games start. But I don't know if we're going to have any inter squads. Might have some sim games and things like that, but a lot of our hitters will be facing our pitchers during those days.
Aside from the big names that are joining the team, are there any kind of under the radar guys that you're really looking forward to watching and getting to know this year?
Well, some of these, I haven't seen a ton of our, some of the prospects that have put up such big numbers last year in AAA. So those guys, are young players I'm really looking forward to looking at, and they're going to be playing a lot. And talking about Mayo and Norby and Suckhurstad a little bit at the end of the year, Colton Cowser, these type of guys, they're going to be getting a ton of at bats and a lot of innings in the field. So looking forward to watching our prospects.
Do you look at Kobe as a guy that maybe could play some right field for you in the future? Is maybe trying it out a little bit.
He's so young, and I think it's tough to, when you're that young, to move around that much. So I know he played mostly third and a little bit of first last year in the minor leagues. Probably stick with that here at this camp. Let him get comfortable. We still think he's got a chance to play third base in the big leagues. So want to give him every opportunity, get him with our major league infield guys, and he's going to play a lot over there this spring.
I know this isn't exactly your purview, but I'm curious what your thoughts are of the sale of the team and what that can mean for the club moving forward.
I mean, it's it's big news. I think that I'm just really focused on our club right here. It's something I follow, but I have so much more. I've 60-something guys in there and about 40 staff that we're trying to put things together on a daily basis. So we'll see how it goes. But I don't really have anything to comment on besides that.
Kimbrel, the addition to the back end of the bullpen, another veteran guy who fills an injury position. What does his addition mean, and how can he help leadership role and obviously potentially as the closer?
Yeah, it's a big sign for us. Without having Felix for this entire season, to go in and get a guy that's been one of the premier closers in the game for the last 10 years or so, a guy that's pitched in a lot of World Series games, big games at the end of the game, to have that type of experience is huge. And so we feel good. We feel great about adding him to our bullpen, as well as giving all these other guys another year down there. But he's going to be a huge addition to our bullpen.
How do these injuries affect the bullpen? Because a lot of us had sort of penciled in Wells and Irvin maybe for the bullpen. So if they're starting, what do you have in mind for replacing them in the bullpen?
At this point, not really sure. I think we'd let the game start, and hopefully there's a Yunier Cano there in the locker room that we had, or Felix Bautista from a couple years ago, or we got Danny Coulomb on the last day of spring training last year. So you kind of never know what's going to happen throughout these next 6 weeks, as well as in the beginning part of the year. But let's hope that we can find a few more guys like those guys.
Would you describe the last few spots of the rotation kind of up for grabs and a competition at this point?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think that we have competition in the bullpen. We have competition kind of that back end of the rotation.
Workouts continue throughout the remainder of this week before the first spring training game this Saturday here at Ed Smith Stadium against the Boston Red Sox, beginning at 1:05 p.m. This is Doug Miles from Ed Smith Stadium in Sarasota, Florida.